Assembly Bill 2159 by Assemblymember Gonzalez and others, an act relating to evidence.
Assemblymember Gonzalez, you may open on the measure.
Madam Speaker and members, Assembly Bill 2159 will ensure fair and just compensation for every Californian, regardless of immigration status, through our civil justice system. Over the past 20 years, this legislature has granted all Californians the right to obtain driver's licenses, qualify for in-state tuition, and obtain law and other professional licenses. We also protect immigrants in California's labor laws. However, under Rodriguez v. Klein, the California Court of Appeals ruled that plaintiffs whose immigration status puts them at risk of deportation are not entitled to future wage loss compensation at their California wages. As a result, future wage loss and earning damages are instead calculated at the wage rate of their country of origin, regardless of whether they are ever to return. It has been noted that the ruling in Rodriguez's case has been extended to limit the recovery of future medical care damages as well. This 30-year-old case in California is a bad precedent, since defendants use it against an undocumented plaintiff as a way to undervalue or defeat their injury claims. AB 2159 will ensure fair and just compensation for every single Californian, regardless of his or her immigration status. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Are there any other members who wish to speak on this item? Seeing and hearing none, Assemblymember Gonzalez, would you like to close?
I just respectfully ask for your aye vote.
With that, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Ayes 49, no 16, measure passes. File items 62 through 64 pass and retain. File item 65, AB 1592, the clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1592 by Assemblymember Bonilla and others, an act relating to autonomous vehicles.
Assemblymember Bonilla, you may open on this measure.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. AB 1592 enables the Contra Costa Transportation Authority to conduct a pilot project for the testing of autonomous vehicles not equipped with a steering wheel, brake pedal, or operator. Autonomous vehicles and connected vehicle technologies are developing at an extremely rapid pace, with states such as Texas, Michigan, Nevada, and Arizona making commitments to support further testing. California lags behind. Autonomous vehicles are inevitably the future of mobility, which will increase road safety, improve transportation, and help us meet our state's climate goals. Whereas the DMV is still drafting their final regulations for the deployment of autonomous vehicles on public roads, they right now do not authorize the operation of autonomous vehicles without a steering wheel, brake pedal, or operator. I believe AB 1592 provides a roadmap to the DMV showing the interest of the legislature to move forward with the implementation of safe, fully tested autonomous vehicles in California. AB 1592 remedies the barrier to autonomous vehicle development in a timely fashion by allowing the Contra Costa Transportation Authority to continue to cultivate safe, convenient, and complementary modes of transportation at the Go-Mentum Station in Concord and at a private business park. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Assemblymember Baker, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I join our good colleague from Contra Costa County in supporting this measure. This is exactly the type of technology and innovation that we should be supporting to help our constituents connect that last mile between their homes and their jobs in a way that is efficient and innovative. And it's actually very safely designed, this project. It's one that will benefit a business park in my district, but also I think all of our districts that we are connecting to try to get them that last mile of coverage with very innovative technology. So I thank our colleague for bringing forward this good measure, and I urge your aye vote.
Mr. Frazier.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to commend the author on bringing this innovative opportunity to the legislature. One of the things about the technology that we've been lacking in transportation is the effort going forward by the state. So when private industry takes it forth and makes it happen, we have to embrace it and continue to support it. So I thank you very much, my colleague from Concord, for doing this, and the Contra Costa Transportation Authority for being one of the people to step up and embrace and make sure that this happens. I urge your aye vote.
Assemblymember Bonilla, you may close.
I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
With that, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Ayes 71, no 0. The measure passes. File item 66, AB 2073. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2073 by Assemblymember Holden, an act relating to golf carts.
Assemblymember Holden, you may open.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. AB 2073 allows entities within the city of Laverne to use golf cart-style vehicles that may exceed the standard definition of a golf cart. This bill is a cleanup to my bill, AB 173, from last year. The University of Laverne and several retirement communities employ utility-style golf carts and shuttle-style golf carts, which are generally allowed by current law, but do not for purposes of the Laverne-specific uses. AB 2073 clarifies the code to allow these vehicles to drive along city streets in the city of Laverne. This measure has no known opposition, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
All debate having ceased, with that, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote, all those vote who desire to vote, all those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll and tally the vote. Ayes 74, no 0. The measure passes. File items 67 through 69 pass and retain. File item 70, AB 2295. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2295 by Assemblymember Baker and others, an act relating to restitution.
Assemblymember Baker, may open on the measure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I rise to ask for your support of AB 2295 today. This is a bill that will ensure that victims of crime in California can receive full restitution, not partial restitution, for the loss they have suffered. Back in 2008, voters of our state passed Proposition 9, called Marcy's Law, which enumerated several victims' rights, including full restitution. There has, however, been ambiguity in the law since then, including a court that passed last year an appellate opinion, People v. Pierce, that said there may not be full restitution for victims of crimes in our communities. This measure is going to clarify that and conform the penal code to remove any ambiguity so that victims of crimes in our state have full restitution available to them, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Are there any other members that wish to speak on this item? Seeing and hearing none, with that, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote, all those vote who desire to vote, all those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll and tally the vote. Ayes 71, no 0. Measure passes. File item 71, ACR 120. The clerk will read.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 120 by Assemblymember Mark Stone, relative to information sharing agreements.
Assemblymember Stone, you may open on the measure.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, when it comes to at-risk youth, state agencies and local agencies tend to operate in silos. And we've been struggling for a while to figure out how we can better ensure that data and information are able to be exchanged between such agencies for the benefit of those children. What the Silicon Valley Data Trust is doing is has agreements between agencies in San Mateo County and Santa Clara County, as well as UC Santa Cruz in Santa Cruz County, in order to look at this issue and figure out how to work with aggregated data for the best interest of children as we sort through policy. This ACR here today is showing our interest in this very, very important issue, as well as it ensures our statement to those agencies that they must follow state and federal laws with respect to protection of those youth and the privacy issues that entail. That is why I think it's important for us to make this statement. I look forward to the results of the pilot program in Santa Clara County and San Mateo counties and helping inform us on policy impediments to getting data and information exchanged among appropriate agencies for the benefit of our children. With that, I'd like to open the first roll for co-authors, if I may, Madam Speaker, and ask for your aye vote.
Are there any other members who wish to speak on this item? Seeing and hearing none, with that, the clerk will open the roll for co-authors. All those vote who desire to vote, all those vote who desire to vote, all those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the vote. 63 co-authors on the measure. We can now take a voice vote on this item. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. File item 72 pass and retain, and we will now move to the consent calendar. Does any member wish to remove any item from the consent calendar? Seeing and hearing none, the clerk will read the second-day consent calendar.
Assembly Bill 2020 by Assemblymember Obernolte, an act relating to depositions.
Clerk will open the roll on the consent calendar. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the vote. Ayes 73, no 0. The consent calendar is adopted. Clerk will read the remaining bills.
Assembly Bill 1703
Ayes 73, noes no.
and Assembly Bill 1963.
Ayes 73, noes no. We will now move to announcement and adjournments in memory. The following members were granted permission to speak on an adjourn in memory. Members, please take your seats for the adjournment in memory. Mr. Patterson, you are recognized. Where are you going?
Thank you, Madam Speaker, members. Today, we're asking that we adjourn in memory for Dolores Maria Verdeen. Dolores passed away at the age of 81 last Friday at the Clovis Community Medical Center. She was surrounded by a large family and loved ones. Born in the city of Fresno, she was a lifelong resident of Fresno County. Dolores moved to Kerman as a teenager to work in the ranches of West Fresno County. Later married, she moved to Biola, raised a family of 8 boys and 1 girl. She was active in her community, volunteering with St. Patrick's Catholic Church in Kerman. She taught in the CCD program. She sang in the choir. She was also active at the Biola Pershing Elementary School as a member of the Mothers Club. Dolores was one of the hardest working women you would ever find on a ranch. She often would boast that she could outwork any man. She taught her children to take great pride in her work, whether it was cotton or vineyards or raisins or packing table grapes, in instilling a very strong work ethic that fared all of the children well in adult life. She also loved politics. She never missed an election. She was always quick to ask, "Who are you voting for and why?" And Dolores is survived by her husband, Ramon, 7 sons, her daughter, Stephanie, who cared for her for a period of time in her final years of illness. 13 grandchildren and 6 great-grandchildren. Mass for Dolores will be in Kerman at St. Patrick's Cathedral Church this Friday, with burial services at the Fresno Memorial Gardens. Our thoughts and our prayers are with the family. And if the story of Dolores sounds familiar, it is because Dolores is the beloved mother of our friend Bernie Orozco, and we have often heard him sing the praises of his dear, dear mother. We join in the sadness of this passing, but we also join in the wonderful recollection of such a wonderful life well lived. Thank you, members.
Mr. Garcia, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and colleagues. Today I ask that this body adjourn in memory of Desiree Ava Grace Sechen. She was born June 5th, 2009 in Palm Springs, California. And before I get into, telling you who Desi was, I want to acknowledge every single one of you who are wearing this lapel pin with her face in honor of her battle that she fought with pediatric cancer, and that inspired many, many lives from California all the way down to New York. Desi's life, like any other child, was filled with normal activities that any little girl would be part of. She loved school, she loved dancing, coloring, riding her bike, and playing with her sissy, Deja, and her brother, Derek. Desi loved her life, and it was quite obvious as we saw her during this journey these last 2 years. In April 2014, she was diagnosed with stage 4 high-risk neuroblastoma cancer. And it's important that I note this, that each year there are about 15,000 children between the ages of birth and 19 that are diagnosed with cancer in this country. Every day, 43 children are diagnosed in this country. You know, Desi, we saw her spirit as she went through very aggressive treatments become stronger. We saw a young child through social media and her interactions with her family and what became to be known as Team Desi. We saw her smile. We saw her dance. In some instances, if no one knew that of her illness, you would think that she was a normal child living her life. Our community in the Coachella Valley came together and established Team Desi. And that would be the backbone of her support for her family, and everyone rooting for her. Desi's story was shared throughout many, many social media pages, and thousands of people began to follow her story, including myself. Desi's photos and her videos demonstrated a child facing cancer, but that would not be defined by her illness, but by her spirit of a fighter, a warrior. She inspired a lot of people over the course of her 2-year fight with this illness. And on March 16, she passed to be with the angels up in heaven. I hope that you will join me in recognizing this little warrior's battle to fight pediatric cancer, and that you will join her mother, Laura, her father, Terry, who have set forward a journey of bringing greater awareness to pediatric cancer and the challenges that it brings about for not only the patient, the family, and the impacts that the loss of a child has on an entire community. Members, on March 3rd, I had the opportunity to meet Desi after a basketball game in Indio at the Desert Rec Center. And after following her story for about a year and a half, I was compelled to chase her and her mother as they were walking out of the gym to just say hello, to introduce myself and tell her what an inspiration she was to me and to thousands and thousands of other people in the Coachella Valley and across the country. And I say across the country because when people learned of her illness, many people rallied around the family to help provide the means to be able to get her any and every possible treatment that she could receive to try to save her life. And what I said to this beautiful little girl with these bright blue eyes is that she was an inspiration to far more people than she would ever imagine. And I told her that she was far stronger than most adults and most young people that I had ever met, because the spirit and the energy that she projected during the time of her treatment was like no other. And I feel very blessed that I had that opportunity to say that to her, because as she was an inspiration to many others, she has motivated me not only to bring her story to all of you, and thank you for wearing the lapel button that displays her face and the battle that she fought, but the many battles that remain to be fought to identify a cure for this very awful illness that I know every single one of us has been impacted by one way or the other. So as we adjourn in her memory, I also want to just recognize her parents, Laura and Terry, and her brother and sister who are watching this morning from the Coachella Valley, and the thousands of members of Team Desi who have been the backbone support for the family and for everyone who has felt the pain of a lost one to this illness. So we adjourn in memory of Desi. She may not be here with us physically, but we know that her spirit, her energy, her beautiful bright eyes and smile will live on forever in all of our hearts, and that we will continue to seek a cure for cancer so that we never have to suffer this type of pain again. Thank you very much, members.
Mr. Cooper, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. Today, I'm adjourning in memory of longtime Highway Patrol Officer Robert Koob, who worked here in the state capitol. Officer Koob began his career in Southern California in 1972 with the California State Police. While in Southern California, Koob provided protection at the residence of then Governor Ronald Reagan and State Treasurer Ivy Baker Priest. In June 1974, Koob requested to be transferred to the Sacramento, where he spent the next several decades protecting legislators like myself. In 1987, Koob graduated from the FBI Hazardous Services School and later became a hazardous device technician / canine handler and provided protective sweeps for Presidents Ronald Reagan, Gerald Ford, and Bill Clinton. During his career, Officer Koob was no stranger to protest at the Capitol and was here during the attempted assassination of President Gerald Ford. In his role as a bomb technician, Officer Koob successfully located and disarmed several devices throughout the state, including a package that was sent to then Governor Pete Wilson in 1992. Officer Koob served his state with honor and distinction. My heartfelt prayers go out to Officer Koob's friends and family. He will be deeply missed. Thank you for the opportunity to adjourn in his memory.
Mr. John Sawyer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I, too, rise today, sadly, in memory of Stephen Browning Sample, the 10th president of my alma mater, the University of Southern California. He was president from 1991 to 2010. What made him a unique leader is he set priorities, high priorities. One of them was to raise as much money as he could for scholarships and to make sure the school was inclusive. He raised close to $2.85 billion, which was unprecedented. On the undergraduate level, he made it a priority to raise the academic standards at the undergraduate level. Many of us who went to University of Southern California back in the day, when 70% of the applicants got in, today only 14% of the applicants get in, and USC is considered an international academic institute because of his leadership. In the interdisciplinary research and training, we now have Nobel laureates at the University of Southern California because of him. And what I'm most proud of is his USC Good Neighbors campaign, where he went out into the community and made sure that the community was better. In 1992, when we had the civil unrest, when many encouraged him and some trustees encouraged him that USC had to leave South Los Angeles because of the crime element and the problems in South LA. And they told him to get in ships and to move forward out to Irvine and Malibu, as Pepperdine did. He's the one that said that the University of Southern California is an anchor in this community and needs to stay and needs to be here and needs to rebuild Los Angeles and be a leader in that. And it was his leadership that it was done. Ultimately, USC had the distinction of being Time Magazine's College of the Year in 2000 because of that. In addition, he promised that he would bring the athletic program back to prominence. Before then, we weren't doing so well in football. Because of him, we had national champions, not only in football, but in other athletics. And he's the one that said, we will do it. We will make it happen. And he set high goals to do it, and he did it. He taught a class with Warren Bettis, where he tried to train leaders to be leaders. He and Dr. Bettis talked about things like managers do things right, while leaders do the right thing. He wrote a book called The Contrarian's Guide to Leadership, where he talked about leadership in a different way. And he's known to have said, just as you can't become an effective leader by trying to mimic a famous leader from the past, so you can't develop your full leadership potential or even fully appreciate the art of leadership by slavishly adhering to conventional wisdom. The key is to break free, to break the norm, and to be an unconventional leader. I ask every member of this body that's a Trojan to put up two hands for victory, fight on, and for everyone to remember Dr. Sample was an electrical engineer, and I have to read it. He was a specialist in electromagnetic theories. He invented the controls and touchpads used in millions of microwave ovens. So every time you go to your microwave, fight on and remember Dr. Sample. Fight on.
Without objection, Mr. Harper, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I just wanted to also join my colleague, Assemblyman Reggie Jones-Sawyer, in this memoriam. Stephen Sample was my university president. His signature is on my diploma, and he influenced not only me, but so many of my peers as well. Such a good man, an influential man, and a very positive force for his students, as well as for the city of Los Angeles and throughout the state of California. I join in support.
Mr. Alejo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. Today I rise to respectfully request that we adjourn in memory of a good friend, Mr. Dennis Kennedy, the very popular and beloved mayor for the city of Morgan Hill. Mr. Kennedy passed away last Monday evening, March 28th, at the age of 77. His son, Matthew Kennedy, was by his side. Mr. Kennedy was a mechanical engineer who worked for IBM for 25 years and later as a project manager for the construction firm of Parsons Corporation for 7 years. He became mayor of Morgan Hill in 1992 and served the city in that position until 2006, 14 years serving his community. His imprint remains all over the city and will remain there for many more years to come. As mayor, he was the guiding light behind building recreational facilities in Morgan Hill that today remain fundamental to the appeal of the community. The highly popular Swim Center, the Community and Cultural Center, and the Centennial Recreation Center. Mayor Kennedy is remembered as a man who was loving and gentle, but at the same time powerful. He treated everyone as an equal and respected the dignity of everyone. He also took time to serve as a mentor to many South Santa Clara County public officials who hold office today. And he certainly welcomed me as I began representing Morgan Hill in 2012. Kennedy remained a tireless volunteer even after his retirement. He was an American Leadership Forum Silicon Valley Senior Fellow, a member of the Rotary Club of Morgan Hill, past president of the Morgan Hill Downtown Association and the Morgan Hill Sister Cities Committee. He also led the effort to clean up his community's groundwater after it was contaminated with perchlorates. And rather than pursuing litigation, he led a collaborative effort to help clean up the water much more expeditiously. Swimming, water skiing, and golf were among his favorite recreational pursuits. He had his pilot's license and in recent years even completed a swim to Alcatraz. He was a fixture on the golf course with his dog, Nika, often riding in the cart with him. Mr. Kennedy will be missed, and I ask that we adjourn today in memory of one of California's finest residents.
Mr. Cooley, you're recognized at your desk.
Colleagues, I rise today in honor of Gary Ross. Gary Ross was an outstanding citizen in the 8th Assembly District. In really ways, I view him as sort of a type, even an archetype, of a type of person so characteristic of the 8th Assembly District. I moved there almost 40 years ago. At that time, we had 2 thriving Air Force bases. And from the fact that the Air Force was among the earliest institutions in American society to integrate, I have always been struck, living in my part of Sacramento County, at the tone of our communities, the heritage of community leaders of all stripes who just generously gave of their time to support the well-being of the broader community, which I've always seen as sort of an outworking of that Air Force ethic of the type of community life they formed on their bases and then brought into the surrounding communities where they went home at the end of their shift and workday and mission. And Gary Ross is one of these veterans of the United States Air Force. He was actually born in San Francisco, but made Carmichael in my district, right between these two Air Force bases, his home in the 1970s. He was a flight engineer during the Korean War, supporting the mission of a B-36, which was a multi-engine, very versatile bombing aircraft during the Korean War. And so you know that he learned early in his career in the Air Force the importance of being a team, contributing to the team, ensuring the well-being of the team. And then you proceeded to see this work its way out in his life. As a veteran, he became a fierce advocate for veterans' issues here in the Sacramento region. He was a member of the Sacramento Veterans Affiliated Council, the American Legion, American Veterans, Korean War Veterans Association, and founder locally of the Disabled American Veterans. He was, in 2012, named Veteran of the Year here in Sacramento. He was also active in things that were not veterans related. This is why I say I remember him not just for his veterans advocacy, but as an outstanding citizen. He was an avid sports fan, and particularly in youth baseball, served as a baseball commissioner here in the Sacramento region. So this giving man, this man that learned teamwork on behalf of the United States Air Force and lived out that ethic long after he'd left the Air Force, living out that ethic that was so typical of veterans in our region. I remember him today. He will be missed by his family, friends. He is survived by his wife of 57 years, Barbara, 3 children and 14 grandchildren. And I thank you for adjourning in our session in memory of Gary Ross today.
Members, please bring the names to the desk to be printed in the journal. All requests to adjourn in memory will be deemed read and printed in the journal. The session schedule is as follows. Friday, April 8th, no check-in session, no floor session. Monday, April 11th, floor session at 1 p.m. All other items remaining will be passed and retained. All motions should be continued. Seeing and hearing no further business, I am ready to entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Cooper moves, Ms. Waldron seconds, that the House stands and adjourned until Monday, April 11th at 1 p.m. Quorum call is lifted. Good job. Go ahead.